He's a photographer, blogger, and an app developer, giving tequila enthusiasts the ability to like and rate tequilas for aroma, flavor, finish, and value. To top it off, he has a cultivation project on his Guadalajara rooftop where he is germinating agave and learning all about growing blue agave from seed. I am honored to introduce you to Grover, owner of the TequilaMatchmaker app and one of the most passionate individuals I have met when it comes to tequila. I'm Jeff. I just retired from the military, sold everything I own, and now I'm traveling around the world to learn from brewers, winemakers, distillers, and tell their story. This is my journey of beer, wine, and spirits.
About 12 years ago, we came here to Tlaquepaque and did our first distillery tour, and it was mind-blowing. And we then, for 2 years, moved back to Mexico to learn about tequila, to study it, to meet the people in the industry, and to just get more into it, because we had a blog and we were just putting content in that blog. But when we came back 2 years later to San Francisco, we realized that, wow, we had learned so much while we were there, and we could or should create a mobile app to take all that information and help give people access to this stuff that we learned. And so that was about 6 years ago. And the app has just grown crazy since then.
Actually, instead of just liking it and then putting in comments, it actually helps you identify actually what tequila that you like based off of, what you're marking it, you're checking the blog saying, yep, I like this, and it helps you identify different tequilas you might not have tried that you should try based off your app.
The name is TequilaMatchmaker, and some people get confused. They think it's a dating app for people who like tequila, and I guess could be used that way, but really the matchmaking part is matching you with a tequila that's right for you. So we developed an algorithm that watches what you're liking and not liking and what you're responding to. New brands get added every day, I'm not joking. 2,205 brands right now in the app. And then we're monitoring all of the products made by those brands and down to the very detail, like exactly how each one was made. And I think there's just shy of 5,000 different tequila products listed. We do the app because we love it and we want to give back to the tequila industry, to the community, to let them know what's in that bottle of tequila that they're drinking and educate them. Another passion play that's come out of this, the more we learned about tequila, the more we realized how critical it is. Agave is like the critical ingredient and how special it is. The more I dug into it, the more I learned about it, the more I realized I was fascinated by this plant, because it's like an intelligent plant. It's not just growing, it's actually making decisions and thinking and responding to what's happening around it. The challenge that the industry has right now is that they've been using clones. So the clones are these little offshoots that come out of the agave, right? So it sends out a little runner. It's called a hijuelo. And then they just cut those and then put them off another field somewhere else, and then those grow into a full-size plant. And so they've been doing that for hundreds of years, and so the genetic diversity has vanished from the plant. So one little sickness or plague that happens to one plant can wipe out the whole crop. The only way to combat that is to grow from seed, and that is not done because it takes too long, it's too costly to do. The problem is that it's not been done for so long that the plant really doesn't have any need for producing viable seeds, and so the germination rate is very low. It's very difficult to get a Weber Blue Agave to germinate. We've started an attempt to grow from seed here. The germination rate is terrible, it's like 1%. I have a variety of different things that show you how cool the agave plant is. Yeah. First thing was the little hijuelos. So this is a tiny little one that just got pulled out of the ground, and it came from a mother plant, and this will turn into a full-size agave at some point. You can see it's tiny right now. But there's another way. In their natural reproductive cycle, it throws up a quiote.
Okay.
You might see some of those in tequila or in the region. It's just a big thing, and it's got the flowers on it. That's where they produce flowers and then seeds. After it produces the seed pod falls to the ground,
Okay.
but the plant still has energy. And it says, okay, still have energy. Before I die, let's make some more clones of myself. So that's what these are. These were taken off. The little plants start to grow in the canopy.
Yeah.
And I pulled these off. This is probably a 9-month-old plant that came off of the canopy. Now these are generally not used in the industry because it takes longer to grow them this way. I thought it would be cool to see if we could grow a whole batch and make tequila out of these, which we can. Like these will start growing like crazy in the heat. And then, of course, there's growing from seed. I start off in these, so it'll take about 10 weeks in here for these to start showing a root. Right now, that's just agave seeds. So they'll sit in this moist environment, and eventually it will shoot a root out. So you can see it's got the little seed still stuck to the top, and then it's got a root and its first leaf. Now this is almost ready to be put into soil. So it takes a long time.
Yeah.
That's why they don't use it.
Yeah.
And then eventually, so this is 9 months old
Okay.
in soil with 4 leaves now. These are from seed about 1.5 years. This is wild. This is one from the first batch of wild seeds. So you're seeing what a difference. The Weber Blue is a lot weaker genetically than a wild species.
Yeah, because how many species of agave are there?
There's 125 in Mexico. For tequila, you can only use one,
Yeah,
and
only
that's
use
the
one.
Weber Blue Agave.
Yeah.
And that's the one that we're having such a hard time growing from seed.
What does the future hold for the agave plants?
We asked agave botanists about this, and they said that in general, it'll take about 800 years for some kind of organism or disease to be able to get through the agave's protection system in a normal thing. So it's not super critical, but the big unknown now is like the climate change and global warming, because that's introducing new stresses to the plant. Colder winters, hotter summers, and so it's causing the plant to be stressed out at periods of the time, which could open up a window for something to get in, like a disease. So that's the big risk factor that nobody knows. It could happen sooner because of that. I'm just trying to learn how to grow from seed and get some plants going from seed so that we don't lose the plant, like do my part. And it's going to take a long time. It'd probably take 12, 14 years for those little ones out there to grow into something that would produce seeds again.
I'm really fascinated because you could see, everybody sees all the bottles behind us. I know when I go shopping for tequila, now that I have your app, I can go ahead and start tasting and understanding, which tequilas I like. But talk to me what are some of the tequilas out there right now that most people aren't talking about that should be talking about?
Well, there's things that we're going crazy about right now. Like this one is a Cascarin Tahona. It's a Tahona-made product, which means it's all ground. Agaves are ground with stone, super old-fashioned way. This produces such a great, really artisanal, unique aroma and flavor profile that we totally love. Another thing, and this is a brand that has a serious cult following, Fortaleza. You can always identify it by this top here. They've just released an añejo, right? That if you turn it around and look on the back, it'll say lot 43A. If it says 43A, grab that bottle at any cost. This is actually a mixture of extra añejo and regular añejo, and the results were amazing. Like people are freaking out. So if you can get 43A, remember, look on the back. It's their secret. Totally go for it.
Gotcha.
Another one that we totally love, only 1,000 bottles of this, and you can only get it, I think, in Idaho, believe it or not. Volans Extra Añejo, but it was aged in like a 20-year-old whiskey barrel. And so there's still lots of agave left, which is, as you notice how light it is for an Extra Añejo. So I love Extra Añejos that still have agave. And then there's this one, which is a Fuente Seca Cosecha, which is a product that was made using really, really super mature agave. And then they rested it in a stainless steel tank for 3 years. So it's a Blanco, but almost like it aged as long, as an Añejo. This is hard to find. It was only a certain run batch. So, but you can get Don Fulano Blanco, which I think has a lot of the same properties, made at the same distillery by the same people. And so this is readily available and affordable. And not enough people know about this because this is really, really good. So these would be my suggestions.
Awesome. Grover, thank you so much.
Oh, thanks for coming.
I appreciate it. Thank you, and appreciate your time. Teach us all about tequila.
Anytime.
Awesome.